This episode of On the Line is presented to you by Living.fit, your one stop for all your fitness needs. Make sure you go download the app Living.fit today. Now here's the show. Welcome to On the Line. Today is Friday, July 29th. We got a great show for you guys. We got the Vanilla Gorilla, Jason Witt, on the show. Very fun interview with him. He's the man. Got a little juicy tea in there. It's a good interview, though. Let's wrap up with Jason. We got our UFC 277 preview in 2 minutes. A lot of fun with that, and then give the quickest picks on the internet. Then once we wrap up with all that, we do our medals for the week. Before we dive on into that, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Listen on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, any other podcasting platform. Hit that follow. Maybe leave a review if you're one of the cool kids. But anyway, before we dive on into the Vanilla Gorilla, we're looking for a co-host. So if you think you got what it takes to be my co-host, talk UFC, NFL, NBA, all that other kind of stuff, fill out the application. You can find it like on the link at top of my Twitter profile. You can find it on all of our socials. So if you want to do that, feel free to apply. We're still taking applicants. So without further ado, though, let's go on back to the show. Here is Jason Witt. We are joined by a very special guest. He's a big favorite among the MMA community. We are joined by the Vanilla Gorilla. We are joined by the best skater in MMA. We are joined by Jason Witt. Jason, my man, what's up?
Man, I've never had that introduction with the best skater in MMA. I didn't know most people didn't know I skateboarded.
Well, there you go. Now everyone knows. I've seen you've casually dropped it all the time, and no one ever really talks about it.
No, I mean I skateboarded for like 10 years. I still watch skate videos. I still love skateboarding. I would do it to this day if I didn't get punched in the face for a living. I can still do a kickflip pretty easily, so that's always fun.
I was about to ask, when was the last time you shredded? When was the last time you went out there and just kind of freestyled?
There's a skate park that's literally 4 minutes drive from my house, and I went out there and just like cruised around. I think I like jumped on a flight of like stairs, did a couple things, and I just enjoyed myself. I enjoy just cruising around.
Yeah, I mean, nothing wrong with that. No, that's that's kind of crazy. I'm surprised no one's ever really brought that up before. I never even learned how to do a kickflip or anything like that. But I always loved like the Tony Hawk games and things like that. I always wanted to do it. I'd go out there and then I couldn't do anything, and I'd give up after like 5 minutes.
I feel the same way. Like I just watch all these pro golfers, and I'm not chance.
Or you play with someone else that's like really good, and it just gets so frustrating because they just keep hitting just darts after dart after dart, and you can't hit anything great, and then you hit one good shot, and then it's just the same old.
Terrible. It's like you can play a whole game and shoot 129,000, and then hit one good drive at the end of it. You're like, oh, that's why I play golf.
That's the worst thing too. My thing is I got better, and then for some reason I got worse this year. I was hitting consistently good drives, things like that. Now I can't even get anything off the ground, and it is the most frustrating. It's so frustrating because I've gotten worse. I thought I'd get better. I've gotten worse. I don't know.
What's that? It doesn't make sense to me. So like jiu-jitsu, if I take a month off jiu-jitsu, I come back and I'm awful. I'm out of shape. My timing's off. Terrible. I can't do anything. Golf, I take an entire week off and I come back and I play better than I ever played. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like logistically, it doesn't make any sense at all.
No. The golf is an interesting thing like that. I mean, that's why we're not professionals at it. But I know you played in Hawaii, and I saw the hole that you took a picture at. How many balls did you donate into the Pacific Ocean on that hole alone?
So the hole really wasn't even close to that, so I donated 0. Luckily for me. But yeah, it was just a beautiful course. I played 2 there. I played 2 courses. That course is super cool. Fortunately, they didn't really put the hole super, super close to the ocean. You still had like a good 20, 30 yards to hit the ocean. But so fortunately for my ball loss, none of those.
It was minimal. I would say I would have drilled one into the ocean if I were out there.
One of it. I just in the ocean.
Just not into the ocean. So real quick, this is kind of a dumb question, but with like golf, obviously you have the whole live tour thing kind of taking over all the media, things like that. If there was a live tour, but for like MMA fighters, how quickly would you sign up for that?
I've had this question asked multiple times. So a lot of my clients are golfers. A lot of my clients are like, they ask me the same thing with the UFC, and I'm like, it depends, because the understanding of the live tour is you can't play in the PGA Tour, but there's only like 4 really big PGA Tour things, like the Masters, the Opens, those things. But all the other tours you can play, no problem, right? So I'm like, man, like I'm not trying to fight for the UFC belt. So if I could like fight a couple UFC fighters, and then I can't fight the big UFC fighters, I might. For $200 million plays a big factor in anybody's decision making. I don't care what they say. It's like even Cameron Smith just won the British Open. and he's still going over there and making $100 million. Would I don't know. Like, there's the prestigious of the UFC that just you know that's where the top fighters are. That has the lineages. They created the entire UFC. It has a whole heritage. I don't know why I said that five times. Man,
it's tough.
$100 million plays a big factor in that. I'd probably do it.
I think I do it too. I think a lot of people are hypocrites. You get that check presented to you, and you're like, how can you say no to that money, man? And I was letting someone talk about it yesterday. They were talking about how, like, if you really look at all the big companies and things like that, the dirty money is supplying everything, and everything you consume on a day-to-day basis, it's dirty money. Like, you can't get away from it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've never said I want to be the UFC champion of the world. Like, I'm not here to fight the best guys in the world. I did it because I love competition and I wanted to make some money doing it. So if I could if Bellator said, hey man, here's $200 million, come fight for us, I'd be like, sorry, dude, I'm out. Like, $200 million, I'm set for the rest of my life. My kids are set for the rest of their life. My wife's set for the rest. Like, that's a different story.
It's a completely different story. It's life-changing money. It's life-changing money. I don't know how you can say that. But obviously, coming up to this fight with Josh Quinlan, like, obviously, you're not going to be making $1 million off the fight, but we might get a nice little bonus. But before we go into that, I want to ask about one of your promotion, like, regional fights. You fought this thing called, I got to go right, Stronger Man's Conference. Is that a promotion, or what was that?
It's a Christian conference. So like
they had you guys fighting at a Christian conference?
Yeah.
What?
It's spectacle. Like, I'm talking, they had dirt bikes doing backflips on ramps and shit. They had all kinds of, it was actually pretty insane. Yeah, I never heard of it. I just realized I got the fight. And then they had dirt bikes, they had concerts, they had fights. It was pretty intense. It was actually pretty cool.
That's crazy for a little Christian conference as of people beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah. Nothing says Jesus like punch somebody in the face.
I guess so. That and Christian rock. I mean, God bless. Is that where you lost your teeth, or where'd you lose your teeth? I know that's something a lot of other people don't know either.
A lot of people don't. A lot of my clients don't know that. It's kind of fun.
They piss you off. You just take them off, give them a little smile.
They're like, what the fuck? We did not know that. Man, so I was sparring one time. I was supposed to fight a guy named Chance Staxton, who's a tall, lengthy guy. And so I went to a gym to train with this taller, lengthy guy, and my mouthpiece just ended up falling out of my mouth as I caught a knee. And I remember, like, I caught it. It was no pain, didn't hurt at all. But I remember looking down at my glove and just catching my teeth in my mouth, being like, fight's off, and fucking, I'm over. Like, I'm out. I'm done. And it blew out. Like, I still had half the teeth, but it blew out the whole back of my teeth. So, like, I had to get root canals. I had to get implants put in. Those broke. I got new. I just have a retainer. I just take it out. It's the easiest thing ever. I'll get them fixed when I'm done fighting. But yeah, man, that was a pretty interesting kind of situation there.
I bet you never forgot your mouth guard since.
No, I never forgot it. It just felt like it just dropped out.
Oh,
like,
are you like more than like, obviously you're probably more like, I got to keep my mouth guard in. I'm never having this shit happen again. Like, I'm just gonna bite as hard as I can.
I forget my mouthpiece at home or something. I did not train that day. I don't step on the mat on the mouth. Does not happen to me. I've spent thousands of dollars on my teeth, and it's not gonna happen. I'm not gonna not worth it to me.
No, don't want to do that again. Don't do that again. So obviously we've talked about your clients a little bit too, and I know your UFC debut was it was a crazy situation. You literally got the call 48 hours before, made the cut. And I know you had to drop a bunch of clients for sessions and stuff. Did any of them drop you all together? They're just like, oh fuck you, you value yourself more than me.
No, man, like, I have a lot of cool clients. Like, they all understand what I'm doing and what my goal was. So I mean, really, they're just like, oh, I completely understand. Go do your thing. And I mean, and usually on a Thursday, I usually have a Tuesday, Thursday, they're 2 days a week. So really, we only miss really one session. So they understand who I am. I've done a lot for a lot of my clients, and they did a lot for me. So they really worked out really well. Well,
that's good to hear. I know sometimes for me, some people who are it's a little all about them. But I like to hear that. I know you've had a fun career, man. You've had fights go your way, fights very fun fights like the Brian Barberena fight. You've fights just not go your way. But going into this fight, you're welcoming a guy from the Contender Series, and he's only had 5 fights. And before we get into that fight itself, how would you imagine yourself at 5 fights going into the UFC?
And somebody asked me that question the other day, and it's like, dude, like you don't know what you don't know, right? So like you know if you you don't know if you're ready for stuff. You don't know what's gonna happen. It's a very, very weird situation to be in. 5 fights, man. I remember my my fifth fight, if I'm not mistaken, I fought a guy named Josh Tolley who was knocking people out left and right. And that was probably one of the most terrifying fights I've ever had. It was a 3-round war. My eye was shut. It was a crazy fight. But at that time, I was like, man, I could be in the UFC. And then looking back at it, I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you had no idea what you're doing. Like, just the level that gets to this level is completely different than what most people think. So 5 fights. I mean, I got to give it to Josh Quinlan. Like he's 5-0. He's had some good wins, but the level of experience is just completely different. Like what I've been through is he can't match that with 5 fights.
There's like adversity and things like that you can't really replicate in 5 fights, and there's certain situations you can't. 5 fights aren't alone enough to really get an idea of what it's like to really be inside. Like the cage time and stuff is so valuable. Like it's so underappreciated is the amount of time you get in the cage. So just out of curiosity, like I mean, I don't want to give away the game plan or anything, but I feel like the game plan is probably just going to be use your grappling because that's the sign of the opening and just grapple fuck him to death.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows what's gonna happen. I can knock people out. I got power. But I'm going to grapple. I'm going to wear you down. I'm going to try to grind you out. Like it's not my job to let you know what I'm going to do. But what I'm going to do is your job to stop it. And I mean, if I tell you I'm going to guillotine you, and I try to guillotine you, it's your job to stop it. It's not my fault that you got guillotined. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So the game plan. But with me, I feel very confident in being able to blend everything together, like between wrestling, striking, grappling, back up and down. And I've added a lot of new skills and a lot of just little details to my game that's really helped me out quite a bit.
Are you like this is kind of a side note? Are you trying to be more active and things like that, or is this kind of like the luck of the draw kind of weighted a little bit to, or is it because I know you had that vacation? Obviously, the vacation we talked about earlier. Is it just kind of the way everything fell into place and just kind of timing wise? Did it line up for you not to be as active as you might want to be?
No, I tried to get a fight before that vacation. I really did. Like I was trying to just get a fight like a week before that vacation, so I could take the vacation and enjoy it, and not have to worry about weight or anything like that or training and stuff like that. Which it worked out pretty well. So I mean, I had time from that vacation to just now, so that worked out really well. But I would have liked to fought in like April, May, June, somewhere around there, anyways. But it just didn't happen. And I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and timing is everything. So I think this is really, my body feels a lot better now. Like when I was on vacation, I was obviously feeling like shit. So I feel really good now. My body's recovering, my weight's down quite a bit, and I feel like I'm ready to go.
Love to hear it. And I feel like a thing too is like when you're coming off a loss too, probably your drive to want to get back in the octagon, get inside the cage is probably a little bit higher than it is after a win. You're like, I need to get this bad taste out of my mouth. So that having a little more longer layoff probably hurt a little bit.
Yeah, you watch the fight, you're like, put me back in. I can redo this shit, right? That's the idea. It's not how that works. Now we're fixing that I really, and that last fight, like the margin of error in this sport is extremely small. I feel like I won the first round. I know I won the first round. I was winning the second round. And so I made one critical mistake. And in this game, you can't make that mistake at this level of the game. You can't do it. And I now we've really worked on just a lot of things that help me with that process.
It was like one of those things. So I think I heard you say in an interview, like it wasn't like he hit you that hard. He just kind of hit you in the right spot, right?
Yeah, he's long as fuck, bro. Like longest dude I've ever fought in my entire life. Yeah,
was he longer in person? I know you brought people in that were like long, but it was like when you got there in person, like, oh shit, like he is pretty long.
No, really, and I was thinking in the cage the first round, like, man, he threw a couple jabs and kicks and stuff, and like he almost hit me, but like my range was perfect. And that second round, I didn't understand, I didn't recognize the range because you can see where I kind of popped in a little bit and I popped out without throwing any punch or anything, almost like a feint. But when I popped out, like I didn't realize I was still in his range. Like I was out of my range of being able to hit him, but it wasn't out of his range. And so really that's kind of just, I didn't recognize that in time to not get punched in the face.
Yeah, that's just, again, the little margin of error. You make one little mistake like that, and it's just game over. And that's just, it's like the beauty and the bad part of the whole entire sport. It's just, the littlest things.
I mean, it's what you got to love about the sport, but it's also like, that's the level of the sport.
Yeah, it is. And that's the difference between like being in the UFC and being in the regionals. And the regionals might be able to get away with it. And the UFC, Bellator, PFL can't really get away with that kind of stuff. And so another thing I want to ask about is like, you've been through, like, you've had a win, loss, coming off a loss. Is it kind of frustrating not being able to get that consistency of like getting like building off back-to-back wins?
Absolutely. It really pisses me off. Like I'm sick of going win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. I've never lost 2 in a row. So that's a plus in my book. If you look at my record,
I like that spin zone.
I've won multiple fights in a row, so I'm trying to put that back together. You know what I mean? Including this fight, I got 3 more fights on my contract. we'll see what happens after the end of that contract. But right now, I'm focused on this, and I'd like to put those last 3 wins. I can't control that now, but that's just kind of in my head. Like, hey, let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. I know, like, one thing that's gonna happen next week is, like, on social media, probably gonna be like, not only are you doing that, you have that little like record going on there. I don't know if you ever heard of the Contender Series fade. You know what I'm talking about with this? No, okay, so a lot of people like to bet against Contender Series opponents, and so this is something that I'm going to give you the warning now. I don't know how aggressive people get in your DMs, which I want to ask about it later, but I will say this: I don't put any pressure. People are you're gonna have a lot of people on your side because they're like, oh, the Contender Series fade guy's coming in facing the Vanilla Gorilla, a guy with 30 plus fights, one's a guy with 5 fights. You're gonna be a very popular guy next week or in 2 weeks. You're gonna be very, very popular. Just gonna give you the heads up.
Probably okay.
Gotta love that. And everyone's gonna be picking you, so gotta love that. But like, what I asked about the DMs is like, your teammate Julian Marquez went viral a couple weeks, like a month or so ago, after his fight because he had that one shitbag. Sent him some DMs, pretty spit of the earth. Do you guys just sit in the locker room and go over these DMs with each other? Like, dude, just listen to what this guy said, or listen to what this guy said.
I've never really got like I've gotten like it's never the day after the fight or anything. It's never the after the fight. It's really like I had a guy text me one day. It was like 2 months later. He's like, "You lost me $500 in that fight. I put all my money on you." I'm like, "It's your own fucking problem. That's called betting." What do you want me to do about it? Like repay your money back because I lost my fight? Like, don't bet. I mean, that's the risk of betting. That's why it's called betting. But I really don't get a lot of DMs that people are like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit." Like, I've gotten 1 or 2 over the time. I had a situation with I'll call her out. Fuck, I don't care. With Angela Hill. Right at one point, so my first fight with Sato, right? She texted me like the day before or the day of weigh-ins or somewhere on this. Like, hey, we like guys who take risks, who take crazy stuff. We'd love to have you on the podcast right after that. And I'm talking, I didn't make it back to the locker room after losing that fight. By the time she's like, hey, we're not interested in having you on the podcast anymore. Sorry about that. Better luck next time. I'm just like, are you like at least wait till the next day to tell me, hey. I'm like, that's just a dick move, in my opinion. That's a dick move. And I think it was after the Barberina fight or before the Barberina, I can't remember. She messaged me, she's like, hey, we love having you on the podcast. Like, this. And I was like, no, thank you. She's like, oh, are you serious? I'm like, I don't like the way you approach this. I don't like the way you did this. I don't want to be on your show.
That's fair. That's fair. That's completely fair. I think it's kind of crazy how there's like, I mean, I'm not like that. You can ask Brian Keller actually this. I told him before his fight with Umar Nurmagomedov, no matter what happened, whether you win or lose, you're welcome back. And I had him back on even after the loss. It's just one of those things where it's like, you guys like, that's just such a shitty move. Like, and she should understand too. She's a fighter. Like, imagine if someone did that to her. Like, how pissed would you be?
Especially like this is your first UFC debut. Like, I was stoked out. You know what I mean? Like, one of my first UFC fights, my first podcast. And then like I didn't even make it, like I wasn't even in the locker room by the time she had told me, hey, we're not interested. Like that, come on, like I'm already like, don't kick your man while he's down. Like give me a couple of days to like understand that, yeah, I lost the fight. Like yeah. Then tell me, hey, we're not interested. That's cool. I get that. But don't do it right after. That's just a shit balls move.
Yeah, that is a shitty move. That sucks. That sucks to hear. But we'll say something positive here. Let's go. You've had Brandon Moreno on your camp. I know literally everyone and their mom's asking you about Brandon Moreno, but I know you talked about he hit you with an elbow, and you were like, "Damn, he has some power." And on a scale of 1 to 10, like on the welterweight scale, how hard would you say he hits? If you were like a welterweight hitting, like how hard would you say he hits?
Welterweight hitting me?
Yeah, like in a welterweight, 1 through 10.
Dude, I'd say good 7.
Really?
I said the dude, like he kicked me 3 times in the calf pretty hard, and I was like, we were doing touch sparring, right? So just kind of like, hey, we're just having fun touch sparring. That kid don't understand what that means, right? I don't speak good English, but he don't understand what that means. Like he, like, what just happened? No, man, that kid, he's a monster. He's the champion for the reason. Action, whatever you can call it, whatever you want. I still think he's a champion, whatever. He's in the gym. You've seen this in interviews too, but like he's in the gym working harder than anybody is. He drills harder than anybody is. Man, he wears elbow pads and knee pads, and I threw overhand right, which I do quite often, and he hit with an elbow that I was like, we don't train elbows in training camp just because I don't get my face busted up more than it already is. But dude, he hit with that elbow, I was like, oh, I didn't see that coming. So yeah, man, the kid's good. He hits hard for a 25er, he really does, and he's one of those guys like he's very vocal when he's drilling. Like you'll hear he's like, ha, 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 ha. Like that guy's going at it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he's pretty cool to have in the gym though. He's a super nice guy. His whole little crew is all they're all very well-rounded fighters. They're all very nice people.
And they're all about working. They're not all about like theatrics and shit. They actually want to like get down, get grind, get dirty. They really want to get the work in. They're not just there to be there. They want to get the work in.
Yeah, they definitely live up to the reputation of like Mexican boxers. You know what I mean? They have that gritty like just work ethic. Like I'm gonna be in your face for 25 minutes no matter what. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he kind of lives by. They all live by that. They're all in your face the whole time. Even if they're 25 or 35, 45. Like Brandon Moreno called me out that he's like, "Can you spar?" I'm like, no. I'm not gonna say no to a 25er. So
no, that I was gonna say that'd be bad. That'd be a tough look. Be a tough look. Yeah, a little 125er called the 170. No.
I'd have to go home. I'd have to sit my ass down, go home, rethink my entire life. But if I said no to Brandon Moreno,
no, you would. No, so like obviously like James Krause, like you've kind of been with him through the beginnings of like before he really became kind of like a mainstay coach in the UFC and things like that. And just out of curiosity, like I know you're big in listening to him while you fight. Does it feel like almost like he's playing a video game and you're like his little character and he's like continuing the controller?
Yeah, man. Especially when I'm on like the Barberina fight, I was doing things before he said it or right as he said it. You know what I mean? So it's like, almost like we were like in the ring together. You know what I mean? Like the first takedown I took, I reaped his leg. He's like, reaped the leg. It's like it's like we're in sync. Man, I think he's really the first coach that you can listen to the corner and he gives you play-by-play actual what needs to work, what you're not seeing and what he's seeing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of coaches like, hey, circle here, throw a leg kick, do that. He's like, hey, let's go 1-2-1. Let's do this and then move this way. And then like he's like, hey, reach the leg, touch here, touch here. Like he gives you in fight instructions. I think he's really the only one that really like broke that down really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's almost like one of those things too, where you can take this a little bit for granted because like obviously you want to fight in front of fans and stuff, but being able to find the apex in his list, being able to hear everything he says has to be such a luxury.
Yeah, it really is. I've never fought in front of fans in the UFC.
I know.
I really want to do that. I really want to like give me a pay-per-view card, give me something. Like I'm gonna call out Sean Shelby after I win. Like Sean Shelby, give me a fucking pay-per-view card so I can have my family and friends come watch the fights. But it is really nice just to be able to like the Cole Williams fight. I busted him up with an elbow, and James like, you got a nice cut there. I was like, yep, I can see that. Like, but he's this far away from me. We're just sitting here talking, having the conversation.
So this is going to be really stupid, and probably you don't ever think about this, but do you ever think about trying to take the guy down right in front of James Krause, like right in front of your corner? Like, do you actually think about that in the cage? Like, you know what? I'm going to try to set this up so I can take him down right there.
I don't. It's funny because people like, oh, they call it like a signature move because they picked up Cole Williams, took him across the cage, and dumped him on the ground. Like, it's not a signature move. It's just what I thought was smart. Like, I was on the corner, picked him up, took him down right there, and his corner just talked to him, picked him up, took him to James Krause, and you know what I mean? I think it's just smart. It wasn't even I didn't even think about it. I was like, oh, I gotta do this. No, I just picked him and went. Like, that's just what I did.
So it's not you've never actively thought in the octagon like, hey, maybe I should take him down over there. It's just one of those things where it just kind of happened.
It's just the way it happens.
Yeah, because I feel like if you start thinking about that kind of stuff, you're kind of setting yourself up to get kind of fucked up. I feel like that's kind of you just got to go.
Not thinking about the fight. You're not actually in the fight. You're overthinking it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I had you on, man. This has been a lot of fun. Appreciate you coming on, taking time out of your day. I know you gotta hit some links real quick, but I have one more question about the golf setup in your house. How have you made any improvements to it? Anything adjusted in I know you got like a simulator, you got like a putting green in your attic. Anything else new with it?
No, the way my house is set up, and we didn't know that when we bought the house, we knew it, but like you go upstairs and there's like a regular bedroom with a massive closet, right? There's a door at the end of the closet. I'm like, why is there a door at the end of this closet? And you walk in this door, and it's just like an unfinished attic, like a 13 by 13 foot. Like it's like a little bit ceiling is like probably like 15 feet high, 13 by 13, just unfinished, just room. And I couldn't hit the golf simulator downstairs because the basement was it's only like 8.5 feet high. So we put the golf simulator in there. It's kind of like my golf room. It's unfortunately, when it's like whatever degrees it is outside is what it is in there.
Oh, yeah.
When it's 20 degrees out, it's 20 degrees in there. When it's 97 degrees here, it's super hot. So it's really hard to kind of play in there. But no, I haven't. I had a contractor come over to fix some things in my house. So like construction guy to fix some things or whatever. And I had him go upstairs like, hey man, how much to kind of just finish this off, put some air and, because there's a room right next to it, so you can put air and heat in there just to get it finished off to look nicer and be a little more usable.
So maybe the 50 G's we get after this fight we can use for that.
And I'm my wife. It's my bank account.
And what?
No,
What?
she's like, just finish it off. She's like, go ahead, just finish it off. I'm like, all right.
All right. One more thing too. I know after your last 50 G's, you talked about getting a Batman Rolex. Did you get the Batman Rolex?
I didn't. Like I said, no, I'm just kidding. We furnished quite a bit of the house with which sucks because like we ordered stuff in like January even before the fight came out. Like we paid for it all with the fight money, but like we didn't get any of that till like the next year just because the way COVID. Like we had stuff coming in like in August of last year, even though we ordered in like 2021. Like it was crazy. But I did not get that. Batman Rolex is ridiculously hard to get. One, when I wanted to get it, it was like $16,000-$17,000, right? Which is still a very expensive watch. But now it's like $26,000-$30,000 to get it, and they only make like 3 a year, and you have to be on a waiting list to get those. So like even now it's way harder to get to.
That's tough. That would have been a great way to spend the money on it. But there's other cool things you can do with the 50 Gs once you get these 50 Gs. So, I mean, we've kind of already said it. We talked about the fight itself. You're not going to say decision. Obviously, you're never going to say, oh, I'm going to lose to this guy. But how are you going to get it done against Josh Quinlan at the fight in 2 weeks?
I really think my experience is going to play off. You know what I mean? I think he's going to come out tough in the first round. I know he comes from a shootbox camp. I really think he's going to come out tough in that first round. It's going to be a difficult first round, but my experience will grind him down. I've gotten a lot better at grappling. I've gotten a lot better at being efficient and grappling people to where I use them to work harder than I'm working. So I really think that's going to pay off. And the ring rust will kind of play a factor in that. I really think like the third round, I'll have him kind of mentally beat by the time that round comes around. So I think I'll finish him off in the third round.
Love to hear it. That's what I thought you were gonna. That's what I was gonna bet on. So I like hearing that. But hey, don't worry about me. Don't worry about all the other dipshits are gonna say we want Jason Witt to win. You gotta focus in on this fight. So thanks for coming on, man, and good luck. If you want to have any sponsors, you want to shout out, obviously, here is your platform to do so.
Nah, man, I've never talked to you before. This is a great conversation. I really enjoyed the back and forth conversation. So I appreciate having me on. I don't have any sponsors. I just enjoy punching people in the face and in competition.
Just training people and punching people in the face. Gotta love it. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on. Good luck here in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. Take it easy.
There's our man, Jason Witt. Love him. That was a fun interview. Can't wait to watch him fight next week and continue the Contender Series fade. Love me some Jason Witt. So we got UFC 277, Pena Nunes 2. The most disgusting tap in UFC history. No one will call her a quitter. I'll call her a quitter. That was like the weakest RNC in history, but we got the rematch. We got a lot of fun fights coming on the card, even though not a whole lot of big name value. There's a lot of fun fights. Let's go on in, dive into our 2-minute preview, kick off the music. Let's have some fun with this one, and dive on into it. So, we kick off the card with the Mickey Mouse UFC contract winner Blood Diamond, as he won't have the cage to help him this time around as he faces Walmart, Jeremiah Wells, Orion Kose. Blood Diamond going to be looking like Mike Pathetta as we go on to the World Can Champion Ihor Pretoria, who he meets the Transylvanian pain train Nick. Get off the rails, Ihor. This pain train ain't stopping for a can slammer. But fuck it. We ball as Adam fucking sacrifices himself to Mother's Milk Michael Morales, who the UFC is slowly building as a top-tier prospect in the welterweight division. Roll Morales. But I can't let you get too close, as Drakkar Klose takes on last-second replacement Rafa Garcia. Sub or bust for Garcia, unless he wants to recreate the world's hardest shove, and Klose looks to build on his first UFC finish. And just when you thought the UFC couldn't create a lower-level heavyweight fight, we get to see with the Collier and Sherman 2, with Dontel Mays and handy-dandy Cannabis Lawambi, who won't see the judges as Mays meme finishes him with the guy with 3 wins over 2 different guys. But this is where the real card kicks off as we take on Too Pretty Drew Dober and his Crimson Chin against explosive Rafael Alves. If someone isn't face down, ass up at the end of this one, then we're probably in for a long night as we move on to the featured prelim. Semi the Jedi, Matthew Semmelsberger takes on Alex Morono. Semi no longer has hair in his face, and Morono's ego is too big to capitalize on a potential ground advantage, as the Jedi mind tricks may lead to another early KO for Semi Matt Semmelsberger. There's absolutely zero bias in this pick. And we move on to the main card as Magomed, the only one who doesn't wrestle, and Kalayev as he goes against Anthony Fantano Smith. True eyes full of heart, a Magomed decision can't lose as we move on to the boogeyman of the flyweight division, Alexander Pantoja, who's beat everyone in this division except for Paul Craig, Matt Schnell. This will be a barn burner and has our early nod for fight of the night, which will be followed by a slow letdown between Derek the Prophet Lewis and Sergey Pavlovich. Overcorrection police are in full force as native Texan Derek Lewis has fallen into the underdog status. History repeats itself, but one of the beast trends has to end this weekend. And now the Mickey Mouse 125 title fight of the world as Alexander Pantoja's children Brandon Moreno takes on Steve Carl France for the interim strap. Steve's never been 5 rounds, and underlook cringe King Moreno always delivers. There should be a ton of action, and we should get Figueiredo Moreno 4. And now, the main event of the evening, as the biggest upset is back for the rematch, coming off the worst, biggest quitting tap of all time, as Julian Not from Venezuela Pena takes on Amanda Nunes for the esteemed prize for the biggest ovaries in the UFC. Absolutely nothing has changed, and the same result is coming, and still, Juliana Pena. And that is the UFC 277 preview in 2 minutes or less. Let's go on, dive on real quick picks. Kosei Blood Diamond, who gives a shit? Nick Marino against Ihor Batoria. I think Marino is going to roll. The Pain Train, can't say no to that. Kim Edwards, who gives a shit? Michael Morales, fuck it. Morales is a fun prospect. Should be a fun fight. So, yeah, Morales. Jakar Close, Rafa Garcia. If Garcia can't get it done quick, doesn't get a sub. He has a buzz, and then Close could probably finish him late. So Close. Mays, and as I said, Hamdy's fought like dudes who've never fought in the cage before. So that 3-0 record's very Mickey Mouse. The fact that he's number 45 heavyweight in the world is kind of ridiculous with only 3 wins, but Mays should just do whatever the fuck he wants to him. Drew Dober or Rafael Alves. Yeah, Dober's stupid durable. He took like 7 different heavy shots from McKinney and still found a way to persevere and bounce back and fight back. Alves is explosive. But Dober should just put pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure, and he's going to bring the fight. So, yeah, Dober's probably going to win that one by finish late. Moreno Semmelsberger. No bias. Semmelsberger is just going to roll through him in under 15 seconds and get the third knockout in under 15 seconds. Magomed and Kalev, Anthony Smith. I kind of like Anthony Smith just purely off the fact that in the boxing, I think Anthony Smith has better boxing than Magomed, but if Magomed can maintain distance or actually uses the grappling advantage that he refuses to use, I think it's gonna be a lot closer than the odds say. So I don't know. I'll take the flyer on Smith. Why not, dude? Move on to Perez Pantoja. This is my real 125 championship fight, even though neither of them are fighting for the title next. I think Pantoja should be able to fight for the title next. I think he's just so underappreciated in this division. He is the boogeyman. He's like the new Tony Ferguson. But no, I love Perez though. It kind of sucks. I like both these guys a lot, but I'll roll Perez just because he's a friend of the show. But I won't be upset if Pantoja wins either. Lewis Pavlovich, Lewis is gonna win. It's like one of the curses is breaking. Either he's gonna finally lose back to back, or he's gonna get that meme KO and finally win in Texas. So one of those curses has to break. Moreno, Kai, Moreno can do whatever he wants to Kai. I think in this fight, I think it might be a little dangerous early, but he has that chin. I don't think Kai can knock him out. Almost all of Kai Kara France's knockdowns are against Cody Garbrandt. So, yeah, we'll see. And then Pena Nunes. I think Nunes is a quitter. If she can't get someone out within a round, you saw it with Pena. Once Pena kind of took over in the second round, Nunes quit with Pena had no hooks in. She did not have a choke in. It was right here, and she tapped. I think even Pena's come out and said it too. Like she didn't even think she tapped. So yeah, I think Pena's in her head, and I think this is going to be bad. I think it's going to be real ugly for Nunes. So, especially if she voiced the first round. Like I know a lot of people are saying maybe and I've noticed this too with these people who are like first round or bust. If you want to bet them after a round, usually the lines will not really kind of fluctuate that hard. Even though I love to do that, I don't think it's going to happen. I tried to do that a couple times, and sometimes it won't happen. So anyway, those are the picks. All right, that was our UFC 277 preview. Try to get someone on the show. I'm going to wait until after this process is over, us trying to find our co-host. I'll explain why we didn't have somebody, but long story short, I kind of said no to someone just because they didn't know anything about any other sports, and they didn't reply to my text. I was like, I still love to talk about the fights with you, man, and then didn't reply. So he took it pretty hard, I guess. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's move on to our medals for the week, and we'll wrap this thing on up. So, Harrison, why don't you start us off with your bronze medal?
Yeah, so my bronze medal goes to Kmart because I was scrolling through Twitter earlier, like yesterday, today, and I saw this video of someone who put a whole ass Kmart into VR chat with volunteer employees and everything. Like these guys aren't getting paid to it; they're just like working for Kmart in their time off in VR. Like you could not pay me enough money to fucking do that shit. Like I worked in a supermarket, and it was a great supermarket to work in, but I don't want to do cashier work again. I could not imagine anyone doing that for free, not even like in real life, just in VR. So, bronze medal, Kmart. What the fuck?
Shout out Kmart. Shout out. I'm gonna go ahead and speaking of virtual reality and this new world we live in, my bronze medal goes to Skip Bayless because he has found a new slant to go after superstars.
Ooh,
He is now analyzing Kevin Durant's entrance into TikTok, and why his new TikTok might be detriment to why he cannot get traded from the Brooklyn Nets. So to shout out to brother Skip, man. Just when you think he might be getting too old for this shit, he
he
takes his next
just
step forward. I was listening to this actually. I was listening to part of my take. I'll just say how it is. And they were talking about when do you think LeBron replies to Skip Bayless? And it's going to be when he replies to Bronny. I think eventually I think we're getting close to that point where Bronny's getting to that age, and when he says
yep.
something bad about Bronny, I think we're going to get him. That's going to be the peak Skip Bayless, and everything else will be downhill. But for right now, we're getting new eras of the take industry. So shout out Skip Bayless for always moving in with the trends.
Imagine 5, 10 years from now, Bronny's like doing his thing in the NBA, and LeBron's retired. Shannon Sharp retires from First Take with skipping not First Take, but he
Undisputed,
retires.
undisputed.
Yeah, undisputed. LeBron becomes the new co-host after so many years of putting up with Skip's shit on Bronny, and Skip and LeBron just take over the sports media business. It would be peak, absolute
I'm gonna
peak.
put that at a literal zero, negative 100%. That
I
never
know, I
happens.
know.
That will
Never, it's
never
never
happen.
gonna happen. But
That's a
I
negative.
wish.
That's a negative a billion% chance to ever happen. LeBron fucking hates the guy. He won't even reply to him. That would never happen.
I know.
So move on to
It'd
your
be
silver
funny as
medal.
hell
Let's
though.
move on. Let's move on to the silver medal. That was a terrible idea. That will never happen.
So my silver medal goes to the greatest wide receiver name in all of college football, DeColdest Crawford, because he just got himself his first NIL deal, and it's with a home heating and cooling company. Because of
That
course it
makes
is.
way too much sense.
It's like it's so perfect. It's absolutely perfect. The coldest to ever do it, the coldest Crawford, getting your house as cold as it could possibly be. It's just the future. The Nebraska Cornhuskers, they got themselves the perfect air conditioning spokesman right there. So good shit, the coldest. Make that money.
Speaking of this new generation, the Gen Zs, shout out to they get my silver medal. Gen Z gets my silver medal. It's not because of that. It's because we missed this on Monday. Kyler Murray got his contract extension, but there's a little detail in there that really showcases what Gen Z is all about nowadays. And he's literally required. He has study hours. He has office hours, whatever you want to call it. He has to study for 4 hours every single week or something like that. Regardless, the fact that he has a stipulation in his contract that he has to like study film blows my mind. Like that's kind of
Oh
crazy.
no,
It's kind
it's
of crazy.
incredible.
It's the fact that they have to do that nowadays. It is PTSD to Jamarcus Russell and the blank CD that they gave him way back in the day. So shout out to Gen Z because this might become a new norm, which I hope it isn't. But also big
Well,
big red flag out of Arizona. The fact that that leaked out. If
yeah.
they're worried about him studying tape, oof. Well, if you're a
Well,
defense, you
there
know that you're going to be as long as you change anything from one game to another, you're fine. You're going to toast them.
there's also a direct correlation between Kyler Murray's drop off and the release date of the new COD. So maybe I saw a tweet that was like the study clause is to make sure that he doesn't waste his entire week playing the new COD when it drops.
They should have
So
like you know how like growing up sometimes parents be like you don't play video games a certain amount of hours. Like that's what the Cardinals
yeah,
should have to do with Kyler Murray. He's like, all right,
set up a parental lock on his
yeah,
PlayStation
like
or
literally, like after like 2 hours of streaming, like all right, you're done.
all right,
You can
time to
only
get back
stream.
to work.
You can
You
only
got to
stream a
study
certain
the film.
amount. You can only stream a certain amount. Kyler Murray, man, like that's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
He really is that badass little kid, isn't he?
Yeah, he is that little badass little kid. It's but still, hammer the Cardinals week 1. But once we get to like week 20, well, not week 20. Fuck, I mean, eventually we'll get there. But once we get to week 12, just
Yeah.
take, yeah. Well, what I think that's probably November, right? That's about when the Call
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
out.
that would be around the
First,
time that COD's gonna
literally,
drop.
you spade the shit out of the Cardinals as soon as Call of Duty comes out.
Exactly.
So, Harrison, you're silver medal. Oh no, you already gave your silver medal. We're on the gold. We're on the
Yeah.
gold. Sorry.
On to the
Harrison,
gold.
your gold medal.
So my gold medal is going to Kelly Oubre because following a pattern, he should be an NBA champion this year. So in 2011, Kawhi Leonard was drafted with the 15th overall pick. In 2019, he won the chip with the Raptors. In 2012, AD was drafted first overall. 2020, he became a champion with the Lakers. 2013, Giannis was drafted 15th. Then he won the title in 2021. Last year, Wiggins first overall. He won the title last year with Golden State. So by that logic, the 15th overall pick of the 2015 NBA draft should get a ring this year. And that's Kelly Oubre Jr.
So the Warriors.
So,
But no, he's not on the Warriors anymore. Where is he now?
I think he's a free agent right now.
Well,
looking to be signed.
Lakers.
Lakers should sign him.
Let's do it, and then maybe Russ goes back to being the old school Russ, and you guys aren't stuck with that contract forever.
But should Oubre win the title this year, that means Ben Simmons is due next year because he would be the first overall pick from 2016.
Oh my god, I want that for you so bad.
I would be a wreck.
How funny it would be if Ben Simmons wins a title before Joel. Hold on, Kelly Oubre.
I don't even want to picture that.
Who did he play for last year? He definitely wasn't on the Warriors. I know. He was a Hornet. That's right.
Yeah.
So he left. He left Golden State, went to the Hornets. Oh, that's great for LaMelo Ball. Ooh, that means more LeVar Ball. Sign me up.
We needed the ball with Lario. We need a ball brother with Lario, expeditiously, and so just so we can see LeVar on a parade route.
That's all I want in life. And so moving on, my gold medal. I mean, this is an MMA show. My gold medal goes to MMA Media for trying to make Paddy Pimblett the same person as Conor McGregor. It's just disrespectful to Conor McGregor that they're trying to make them the same person. They're from the same region. They're goofy. They're funny. But they're completely different fighters. Paddy, he's not a striker. He's a grappler that's happened to knock out a couple guys that were like perfect matchups for him. And then Conor went through fucking hell and back. Like, he didn't have an easy fight his entire streak. He didn't have guys set up for him to win. Like Holloway, Dustin. Those guys. Dustin was supposed to be a massive test, and Conor just walked through him. Conor didn't fight cans. Paddy's fought cans. Like, it's just like, it's crazy. Just like these fucking dick riders who are just trying to make everything has to relate back to Conor. You want someone who's like Conor. I mean, you guess you could say Hamzat Chimaev, but he's not even funny. He's not goofy. He's not from that area. But the fact that Paddy's from there is like, oh, he's going to be Conor. No, he's not. He's not that good. Oh, he's good, but he's not like that good. But I will say this though, I have had people come up and ask me like, oh, so what do you think of Paddy? And that's the first time I've heard anyone talk to me about someone else like that in years. So, he's making this
He's got the draw.
He's getting the draw. I'll tell you that. But I will preface also saying I think he is funny. I like him.
He's
but
hilarious.
He's not Conor. He's not Conor. Will we ever see another Conor? Who knows? Probably. But he's not Conor.
I don't think we'll see another Conor for a while. He was special.
Well, with the fact that the sport's evolving and now like more high caliber athletes are getting into it, I think we will. It's just kind of a matter of when and not if. But it's not Paddy Pimblett. I just want this. It's pretty. He's not the same. He's not Conor. He's not that guy. He didn't fight two guys who held belts like Vargas and the first guy he fought, and Luigi Vendramini. They're both already out of the UFC. Everyone Conor fought in the UFC and got wins in the UFC. So, no, I mean it's eventually we'll get one. It's not Paddy, but we'll see one soon. But we can't just immediately say someone who's funny on the mic and has a accent from that area is all of a sudden, oh, that's Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's definitely.
You know what? I'm gonna throw the race card out there. How about that? How about if we fucking flip the switch here? We throw the race card at everyone. Oh, just because he speaks that way and he's got a couple finishes, he's Conor McGregor?
Clearly.
I think this is a racism play. I think that's the play here. That's racism.
The most discriminated group against is people from the UK who fight in the MMA or fight in the UFC.
There's racism all over the place. Just despicable. Well, actually, I'm gonna take a step back too. The person I would say maybe was closer, like, was Sean O'Malley. I'd say Sean O'Malley's up there too. And Sean's actually not fought cans. I mean, what was it? The guy he fought on Connor's card, I think I'm trying to remember the name. The Brazilian. Paiva. Like he's not a can. He was actually a good fighter. He moved up a weight class though. And he was already a little chinny and that kind of a good matchup for O'Malley, but the dude was good. He wasn't like he's not a tossover. He was like ranked for a little bit. So yeah, it's like I would say Sean O'Malley's a lot closer to Connor than Patty is, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's crazy how like much they're overrating somebody for just beating a bunch of cans. I mean, shit. Beat a ranked guy.
It's because he's good on a mic. If you're good on the mic, they can look over anything.
And also, I'm a Patty Pimble truther. He is still a scumbag. Like he's racist. Like I joked earlier. I said it was racist earlier, but like he gave a great speech. Mental health is really important, but let's not forget about the fact that like the dude's kind of racist. He's a MAGA guy. Like he's like a big like, oh, you weren't born in my country, get the fuck out. Like,
close the borders, Brexit.
He was like telling Muhammad Makayev he couldn't wear the flag because he was born in Dagestan, but he moved to Britain. Like, bro, he's a citizen. Let him do his thing. So it's just like, imagine if I'm trying to think of like an American that could have pulled that shit. Imagine if Sean O'Malley told Jakar Close he can't wear the American flag, he has to wear a Germany flag because he's German. Like, bro, you'd get shit on for that.
The whole community would be on your ass in an instant.
It's only the incels on Twitter I've noticed, and it's kind of crazy because everyone will kind of bat the eye to the fact that this guy is low key kind of racist. It's funny as fuck, but he goes a little too far sometimes, and I'm not gonna forget that. I'm not gonna forget.
No.
No.
That's locked away in the memory safe for a rainy day.
Forever. I'm gonna keep that in the memory safe forever. But yeah. There we go. That's the show. A lot of fun guests coming up. We'll have a friend of the program matchup with Ode Osborne, Tyson Nam. Both will be coming on the show. I already got the agreements. So that'll be interesting. Now that we actually have it happen. It's supposed to be Ricky and Jack. I mean, if one of them ends up just like stop replying to me, then we all know what happened before. It might happen again. So hopefully both of them can stick through and we can get a different result. Keep applying for the applications. I mean, we're going through like the phase 2 with some people, but I mean, it's still wide open. Gonna have it open for another month. Hopefully, we want to get this thing going by have someone ready to go by football season.
Hell yeah!
So without further ado, we will talk to you guys on Tuesday. See you. Bye. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with me all the way to the end. I just want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.Fit. If you're looking to better yourself, make sure you go to download the app or visit the website Living.Fit today.